Hi, this is Barry J. McDonald, and I'd like to welcome you to today's blog post over at writecom.com. And today I wrote about a blog post on 5 things I discovered since I started writing and publishing books. The first one that would surprise me in the beginning was that there was an audience even for me. I wrongly assumed that all the big authors had the market share of the audience, which is true. But you might think, well, have I really got an audience? Is people actually going to read my work? And I just want to make you aware of that, that there is an audience. Now, depending on how good of a writer you are, the larger your audience is going to be. But just make you aware of that. Even for you, there is an audience out there for you and your books. In some cases, you might think that maybe that your quality of your writing is good, but you may attract people to your books, like maybe people that are that follow and watch a lot of maybe B movies and stuff like that. You're going to find people that you're going to strike a chord with some people out there. And because of that, I would recommend you should still go ahead and publish your book, because there is an audience out there for everyone. So, don't let that hold you back. And then another thing then too, like, nobody's going to die if your book flops. You may be holding yourself back and thinking, well, I'm not going to publish a book unless I can guarantee that it's going to be successful. But there's going to be no book that is guaranteed success. There's going to be books maybe that publishing companies are going to release that assume they're going to do well and they're going to flop. And then there's other books maybe that they haven't put much work into it that suddenly just strike a chord with the market and then just take off. So if you're holding yourself back because you want to be successful in your first book, I think you're making a big mistake. If you're afraid maybe the book is going to flop, okay, well then hide behind a pen name. Nobody's going to know if that book was successful or not. And if it was successful, well then, once you know that the book has done well then tell everybody. But you can hide behind a pen name, so if nothing in your life is going to change if that book doesn't be successful. Okay, you might have spent maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of months, maybe a couple of years putting that book together, and maybe you might look back and that time was wasted time. But you'll never know unless you release that book. And then another one then is, you don't need permission from anyone. In the early days of traditional publishing, like, people had to go to the publishing companies and they had to say yes or no whether your work was good enough and what market you should write for and all these different things. But in the self-publishing era now, you don't have to do that. You don't have to ask permission from anyone. You're in charge of everything, from the content of the book cover, book descriptions, where the book is posted, and everything else. That is all in your hands. So, you don't need permission from anyone. If you want to write in a genre that doesn't even exist yet, go ahead and write it. You might be surprised. Maybe you might actually attract an audience to that genre, and maybe it mightn't be successful now, but 6 months, a year, 10 years from now, suddenly that market might explode and your book is already in it. So you don't need permission from anyone. If you've got a love for a book and you've got a book in you that you want to express and show to the world, don't wait for anyone's permission. Just go and do it. And then building on from that, then, write what you love. There's no point in writing in genres that you've no love for. In my case, I wrote in a romance genre, and what I did like writing in it, I was never as successful in that genre as I was writing in other ones, because my heart wasn't in it. I might have maybe put more work into the characters in the other genre that I didn't do in this one, in the romance, because I had no love. I was actually writing to the market because I was told the money was in that marketplace, and because of that I was writing for it. And because of that, then I didn't enjoy my writing as much. So if you're only beginning, do you really think that you're going to be successful writing writing work that you don't want to write? In some cases, maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job and maybe you've taken up writing as an escape or a way to, express yourself. So do you really want to go from a 9-to-5 job that you hate, come back and do writing that you hate? Because you'll never stick with it. And even in my own case, books I've written, even months and years later, they've been far more successful than the romance books I've written, because, again, the readers, they felt that love that I had for the characters, and it came across in the words I chose and how I put the book together. And then another thing then, some people maybe think that maybe they need to know it all. You need to know everything. You need to know how to do this and how to do that. But you don't, You're going to write books that are going to flop. You're going to write books that are going to be successful. You'll never really know until you actually take that book to the marketplace and release it. In some case, you might be disappointed. Maybe a book that you've worked on maybe for years just doesn't strike a chord and just disappears into oblivion. And then maybe a book that you've put together in maybe 2 or 3 weeks was just a spur of the moment thing. It just suddenly takes off. So you may be surprised by thinking that you need to know it all, that everything has to be right before. So I just recommend that you should just take those ideas, write and test them and see what sticks and what doesn't stick. So you're never going to know it all, Even the best of authors have released books that have just haven't hit the marketplace. And then even there's going to be changes in formats and new marketplaces and all these different kind of, things that are outside actually the writing side of books that are going to change constantly, between electronic books, like going from paperbacks to electronic books and audiobooks and all those different formats then as well too. So you're constantly going to be on a learning curve. So if you think that you're going to have to, know it all before you have to begin, you're wasting that time. You just need to get in, get your feet wet and learn as you go, because that's the only way you're going to do it. So that has been today's blog post over at writecom.com. My name's been Barry J. McDonald. And before I go, I just want to make you aware of the free report we're giving away at the moment. And it's going to show you 10 ways to make money from writing. So if you'd like to find out what those 10 ways are, I recommend you should come straight over and pick up your free copy today. Take care. Bye-bye.